Well, hey, howdy, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to join me today. I really do appreciate it. My name is Ellie, and I'm a witch, and this over here is my teaching assistant, Andy, and today is going to be episode 3 in my Fatal Alignment series. Today, we are going to be talking about a Pisces, and that is Christopher Wilder. There is a lot to go over in this case, so let's go ahead and jump in. A few trigger warnings for this video are going to be murder, rape of underage girls, and rape of women. I mean zero disrespect to any of the Pisces out there, but what is going on with y'all? All the studies that I could find say that Pisces make up the highest percentage of killers. The famous ones being Gacy, the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez, Otis Toole, the BTK killer Dennis Rader, Eileen Wuornos, and there are so many more that I could name. It is very interesting though. But anyways, I haven't been doing this, but I will try to going forward, where I tell you the dates the sign is for, and then a little bit about that star sign. For Pisces, they are born between February 19th and March 20th. They are loyal, creative, caring, and empathetic people. They are a water sign and considered a mutable sign, which I guess means that they are conversational chameleons and can be whoever or whatever they need to be to fit in. Today's Pisces is Christopher Wilder, known also as the Beauty Queen Killer or the Snapshot Killer. He was born March 13th of 1945 in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. His father was American and his mother was Australian. He was the oldest child and had actually almost died twice by age 2. He almost died at birth, but then he almost drowned at age 2. Unfortunately for those he hurt, he did live. At age 17, he got his first charge after raping a 13-year-old girl. He said that he was with 2 men at the time, but both denied being involved in the assault. As a result, he received probation, but he claimed to later go through electroshock therapy as well. Some suggest that the therapy is what aggravated his sexual tendencies, but there is no evidence that he ever actually underwent that type of therapy. In 1968, Wilder got married, but his wife left him after just 1 week. This was because he was taken in for questioning in regards to a series of sexual assaults that took place at Manly Beach. That was not the only reason she left him, though. His ex-wife told police that he had tried to seduce both her mother and sister, and that she found pictures of underage girls in their underwear in his briefcase. She also admitted to police that he had tried to kill her twice. In November the following year, Wilder used nude photos to force a student nurse to have sex with him. She did go to police, but charges were dropped when she refused to testify in court. It was also in 1969 that Wilder moved to Florida in the US, where he became a successful realtor. But he was not satisfied with that alone. He also picked up photography and turned one of the rooms of his house into a dark room. With this new hobby, he had a good reason to approach attractive young women. He claimed to be a photographer, and then he would lure them away to assault them. Sometime between 1971 and 1975, he raped a young woman after she followed him under the pretense of modeling. He also faced various misconduct charges during that time, but nothing ever stuck, and he was not jailed. In 1982, Wilder went back to Australia to visit his parents, but while he was there, he was arrested for sexual offenses against 2 15-year-old girls who he forced to pose nude after he lured them from Manly Beach. His parents posted bail, and he was allowed to return to Florida while he awaited the trial. The court date kept being pushed out, so he actually died before ever attending that trial. Before his death, he began a crime spree through multiple states, but also note that these are murders believed to be his since he died before he could make a confession. The first murder was of 20-year-old Rosario Teresa Gonzalez, last seen February 24th, 1984 at the Miami Grand Prix. She was a spokesmodel for aspirin, which is why she was there. At about noon or 1, she was seen leaving with a white man in his 30s. Her car was found later parked near DuPont Plaza. Now, Wilder was a race car driver who was actually at the race that day, which is why this murder was attributed to him. Her body was never found. On March 5th, 1984, Miss Florida finalist Elizabeth Ann Kenyon, aged 23, went missing. Her and Wilder had actually dated for a time, and he proposed, but she turned him down due to their age gap. A witness saw them at a gas station near Miami. 6 days later, her car was found, but her body has never been found. The next victim was 19-year-old Linda Grover. She was abducted in Florida, but taken over state lines to Bainbridge, Georgia on March 20th, 1984. She had turned down an offer to be photographed, but Wilder attacked and assaulted her in the mall parking lot. He then tied her hands, wrapped her in a blanket, and put her in the trunk of his car. He then took her to a motel where he raped her, then tied her hands with the blow-dryer cord and super glue. Then he bound her ankles with copper wire and ran electricity through it. She struggled to get away, so Wilder beat her, but she did manage to get to the bathroom where she began pounding on the walls. This caused Wilder to flee, and he took her belongings with him. His next stop was Texas on March 21st, 1984. It was here that he met 23-year-old Terry Diane Walden. She was approached about posing for some photos, but she declined the offer. She happened to run into him 2 days later on March 23rd. This time, he kidnapped her. He raped her, stabbed her, and then disposed of her body in a canal where she was found on March 26th. After killing Terry, he took her car to Oklahoma, where he abducted Suzanne Wendy Logan, aged 21, on March 25th. He drove her from Oklahoma City to Newton, Kansas, about 180 miles away. He checked into a hotel for the night, and the next morning he drove Suzanne out 90 miles from Newton and stabbed her before leaving her body under a cedar tree. His next stop was Colorado. It was in Grand Junction, where he kidnapped 18-year-old Cheryl Lynn Bonaventura on March 29th. They were spotted at a restaurant in Silverton, and then on March 30th they were seen again, this time at the Four Corners Monument. After this stop, they checked into the Page Boy Motel in Page, Arizona. It was the next day, the 31st, that Wilder stabbed Cheryl to death near Kanab River in Utah. Her body was not discovered until May 3rd. On April 1st, 17-year-old Michelle Lynn Korfman was participating in a 17 magazine cover model competition in a mall in Las Vegas. Wilder was photographed at the event stalking Michelle. She then disappeared, but her body wasn't found until May 11th, and it wasn't identified until June. Wilder was photographing 16-year-old Tina Marie Risco near Torrance, California on April 4th. He then abducted her, drove her to El Centro, where he raped her. He kept her alive, though, as he thought that she could help him lure in more victims. He then drove east. It was during his time with her that he made the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. Tina helped him abduct 16-year-old Dawnette Sue Wilt on April 10th in Merrillville, Indiana. Tina then started driving to New York, while Wilder raped Dawnette repeatedly in the back seat. Wilder then took her out into the woods near Penyon, where he tried to suffocate her with a bag, and then he stabbed her twice and left. She survived and was able to flag down a trucker. Wilder had doubled back just to verify she had died, but when she wasn't there, he panicked. That, however, did not stop him from killing. In Victor, New York, 33-year-old Beth Elaine Dodge was kidnapped. Tina drove Beth's car, following behind Wilder. After a short drive, Wilder stopped the car, shot Beth, and left her body in a gravel pit. He then got in the car with Tina, and they drove to Logan Airport. Wilder bought a ticket for Tina to Los Angeles. He then started driving north. In Beverly, Massachusetts, he tries to kidnap another woman, but that was unsuccessful. Those are the victims that have been officially marked as Wilder's, but as I said, he died before he made a confession, so I'll go over some of the victims that are thought to be his, but are not confirmed. He is a suspect for the January 11th, 1965 Wanda Beach murders of two 15-year-old girls, Marianne Schmidt and Christine Chirac. He bore a resemblance to the police sketch, and he had been convicted of being part of a gang rape on that beach 2 years prior. The two girls were found half buried in the sand. Christine had her skull beaten in and had 14 knife wounds. Marianne had 6 stab wounds and her throat had been cut. The girls' underwear had been cut and there was semen on their clothes, but it was an attempted rape with no penetration. 56-year-old Wilhelmina Kruger was a cleaner at Piccadilly Center, where she was murdered on January 29, 1966. She had been attacked on the 3rd floor and then pulled down the escalator. She was found naked, having been stabbed, mutilated, and strangled. Police later found cigarette burns on her clothes. Now, Wilhelmina had actually been driven to work that day by her husband after she expressed concerns that she was being stalked. Hannah Toscayoa Dolinkoa was 27 when she vanished from a taxi club on February 16, 1966. She was found on the side of the road by a truck driver. She had been partially clothed, revealing stab wounds, mutilation, and signs of strangulation. Police believe that she was murdered by the same man that murdered the two 15-year-old girls. The next victim was a Jane Doe until 2015, 36 years after she was found, which was on November 10, 1979. She was identified as 16-year-old Tammy Jo Alexander. She was shot twice in the head and was wearing an Auto Sports Products jacket, a brand that Wilder was known for wearing. The caliber of ammunition could have been used in a gun that Wilder owned, but no conclusive test results have been achieved using that gun and ammo. 17-year-old Mary Opitz disappeared from Edison Mall in Fort Myers, Florida on January 16, 1981. Her body has never been found. Just shy of a month later, on February 11th, 18-year-old Mary Elizabeth Hare disappeared from the same parking lot. Her body was found in June, cause of death from stabbing. Her murder is what made police actually believe that Mary had also been a victim of the same perpetrator. On May 29, 1982, skeletal remains were found in a shallow grave in Florida. There was no official cause of death determined, but they marked the case as a homicide. Using dental records, they were able to determine in 2013 that the victim was 17-year-old Tina Marie Beebe. She told her sister that she had been offered a modeling contract just before her death. The body of 37-year-old Leona Jean Keller was discovered December 18, 1982. Her remains were scattered in some thick bush she had on her property. She was another Jane Doe until DNA testing came back with a match this year. Sherry Lynn Ball was a 20-year-old aspiring model at the time of her disappearance on June 27, 1983. Now, she told family that she was leaving Boca Raton to pursue a modeling career. Shortly before her murder, she had phoned a friend from a truck stop in Virginia. Her body was found in New York on October 29th, though she was not identified until 2014. Her actual cause of death is unknown, but the case is considered a homicide. 18-year-old Tammy Lynn Leppert was last seen on July 6, 1983, getting into an argument with a man. The family actually sued Wilder for $1 million, but dropped the charges after his death. The reason for the suit was that Wilder and Tammy had met on the set of the film Spring Break in 1983. He had been relentless in his pursuit to photograph her, and he had been stalking her for some time before her disappearance. Her mother later said that she didn't really believe that he killed her, and police have not connected the two. On February 18, 1984, in Davie, Florida, the body of 23-year-old Lori Jane Kiersey was found floating in a canal. The cause of death was strangulation. On March 7, 1984, 19-year-old Mary Marie Gay was kidnapped from her graveyard shift, and she was later found in a canal. Cause of death was also strangulation. Both murders were initially linked to Wilder, but he has been recently ruled out as a suspect. March 15, 1984, 15-year-old Colleen Emily Osborne left her Daytona Beach home, missing the bus to school. It is believed she decided to skip school and go to the beach. Wilder was staying in a hotel in Daytona Beach the day of her disappearance. This disappearance fit Wilder's MO of attacking near his birthday. A classmate of Colleen also came forward to say a man that fit Wilder's description had offered her $100 to take her picture. Her body was discovered on April 11th, not being identified until 2011. There is no evidence that ties Wilder to Colleen, but he is the prime suspect. On April 14, 1984, two New Hampshire state troopers stopped Wilder at Vic's Getty gas station. Wilder retreated to his car and armed himself with his gun. One of the state troopers was able to grab Wilder from behind, but two shots were fired. The first hit Wilder and passed through him and into the state trooper, and the other hit Wilder in the chest. Wilder died, and the state trooper was injured but made a full recovery. Wilder was cremated, and his $7 million worth of personal estate was sold and divided between the victims' families. And that is all that I have for you today. That one is a really sad case. Really interested in what's going on with the Pisces, because they are supposed to be like the most empathetic and compassionate people, but also are some of the most heinous killers. I think that just is more into my belief of I don't believe in astrology, because how could your whole personality be determined on when you were born? But that's just me. It's just a really interesting topic and concept. I do also know that there is I don't know if it's a series or like a movie or a documentary on Hulu. I think it's also titled The Beauty Queen Killer, that is about this if you guys wanted to go and look at that as well. But, yeah, I want to say I hope you guys enjoyed the video today, but, that was hard to get through. A very interesting case, one that I had not heard about, but, it was really interesting to look into that one. For this next coming week's schedule, Friday and Saturday, I will be streaming at 7:30 on Friday and at 2 p.m. on Saturday. I'm not sure what I'm going to be playing yet. Tomorrow, there will be a VOD coming out. I don't know how to edit the gaming footage. Like, I don't know what would make that interesting for you guys, so I'm not doing that yet. So it's just the full VOD. And for like my I call it demo day, where I just put a whole bunch of demos, I will just put chapters, and then like in the description you guys would know what demo I was playing. You guys can skip to that. But there's that. But tomorrow, I'm not sure what video is coming out, but it's gonna be a VOD posted. And then next week for my regular series, I'm not going to do a Legends and Lore. I'm going to be skipping that. But on Monday for history, I'm going to be talking about the year of 4, 5, and 6 emperors. And for Tea Time and True Crime, I'll be talking about the Gilgo Beach Killer. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!